Hello, me lovelies. I just thought I'd do a quick video about what I've just read in the news. If you can hear sirens going off, I don't know who they're looking for, but let them get on with it. It's about how 3 women in Bradford were attacked because they were not wearing traditional Asian dress. And this man, Mohammed Hassan, took exception to this and thought they needed to be beaten. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this is because I want to join it up with or get into your mind. As I'm reading what the judge actually decided in this case, of course, I can tell you now he didn't get a custodial sentence. He wasn't sent to prison. You could guarantee that he wouldn't be sent to prison. Keep in mind this debate that's going on in Parliament about Islamophobia law being introduced. And of course, Angela Rayner, when she was challenged the other day, couldn't even define what Islamophobia was. Because when I actually read what the judge did, I'll ask you the question, if there was an Islamophobia law, would what the judge decided should happen to this man be defined as Islamophobic? I'll explain when I get there, but I'll read out what the article says. Man's attack on women was an outrageous public display of misogyny. 3 defenceless women were attacked in broad daylight by a man for not wearing traditional Asian dress as they cowered in a car at a petrol station. In a 51-second attack that was captured on CCTV, Mohammed Hassan grabbed the driver and slammed her head on the dashboard, grabbed another woman's hair and punched her in the head, and then punched the 3rd woman. Bradford Crown Court heard it described as an outrageous public display of misogyny. Prosecutor Ayman Kokar said the 3 women who were known to Hassan had stopped to fill up their car at the Prince of Wales service station on Harrogate Road in Bradford en route to going for dinner on May 25th this year. Hassan, 26, of All Alone Road, Bradford, pulled up alongside them and was said by one of the women to be refuelling his car slowly on purpose. All 3 decided to wait until he had left, as he had previously objected to their non-traditional dress and makeup, verbally abusing them as slags and prostitutes, and demanding that they dress conservatively. However, after paying, Hassan marched straight to the car to throw punches and push the women aggressively. He then drove off and the women called the police. The victims suffered swelling, bruises, red marks and scratches. Hassan remained silent during a police interview but later pleaded guilty to a fray. Mr. Kakar said, in broad daylight, he has attacked 3 females at a petrol station. The offence appears to be motivated by sexist attitudes towards women. Mitigating Fuad Arshad said Hassan's behaviour on the day was very much out of character and that he was very regretful. He said the background to the incident revolved around Hassan's belief that the 3 women had played some role in how a marriage ended, but that Hassan accepted what he did on the day was unjustified. Sentencing Hassan to 6 months in prison, suspended for 2 years, His Honour Judge Colin Byrne said, whatever the motivation was for this, it's still utterly inadequate to justify the violence that you perpetrated against the victims when they were sitting in a car effectively cowering from you. The 3 people on the receiving end of your violence were women who were in a vulnerable situation. This was an extremely abusive, controlling and violent incident. He ordered Hassan to undertake 35 rehabilitation activity requirement days to address the underlying things that led to this otherwise inexplicable violence, to carry out 180 hours of unpaid work, and to win an electronic tag to monitor his movements for the next 4 months. Hassan was also ordered to pay £500 costs. Now that's the end of the article, but what's interesting here, what jumped out at me, was that he was given 35 rehabilitation activity requirement days to address what he's been saying. Now, that usually means he's going to be pampered and sat down and spoken to and relaxed. What's behind his aggression and all this business? Why does he think this way? Well, I don't think it takes a genius to work out the fact that he was objecting that they weren't dressed in a traditional dress meant his ideas of how women should present themselves in public, especially Asian women, is based on his belief system. And it doesn't take a genius to work out that that's Islam. And that's what made him do that. Why I'm mentioning that is because now we're going to have an Islamophobia law, which hasn't been defined. Now, if that law comes through, Hassan could argue, which he could, that to challenge him over his belief systems of how women should be dressed is Islamophobic. This is the ridiculous situation you can be led into by that law. I've said before, in my mind, it's nothing more than at worst a blasphemy law. At best, it's just there to stop people talking about any kind of immigration or any problems with Islam that people have or concerns. That's all it is, to shut you up. But effectively, if that law comes out, which it is going to, and it will be rushed through and cause all kinds of chaos, he could actually argue that questioning his belief system, don't forget the reason behind why he did it, that's what they're questioning. He's already been punished, if you call it a punishment for the attack. That's been dealt with, even though they wouldn't put him in prison for it. You know, well, they're too full of people who are getting put in there for making non-politically correct tweets, aren't they, at the moment? But the fact is, he's already been dealt with for that. He got a suspended sentence, he's got to wear a tag, he's got to pay this money and all that. So this rehabilitation activity requirement is nothing more than addressing why he feels the way he does. And I can tell you now, I've heard of these things before. They used to exist under a different name when I worked for the police. And literally get someone who had broken the law, and the judge would send them away for saunas and massages. No, it's pathetic. It is absolutely pathetic. Now, I don't know if that's what he'll get there. But if he turns around and says, well, I've got this from, my Islamist beliefs, the judge could be accused of Islamophobia. That's the danger of the Islamophobia law. Anyway, I'll leave that, my lovelies. Interesting to see what your comments will be.